Did you see the pictures last night down outside Neville Arena? Pearlville is back. Here's the picture, 20-plus tents camped out last night. Those students will be fired up. They'll be inside early for the game. That atmosphere, some call it the best in college basketball now, and those students were camped out last night. One of the reasons they're camped out, they want to get in there early, have their seat for college game day as they return to Auburn.
And Jay Bilas will be part of that. He's with us for a few moments on the JohnstonRVCenter.com hotline. What is up, Jay? Welcome in. How are you?
I'm doing great. I hope you guys are too. Thank you.
Doing fantastic. Thanks a lot. You know, Auburn pointed out, you guys obviously did not travel during COVID for game day, but Auburn pointed out that it's only Auburn and Duke that have had 3 straight seasons with college game day visits. That speaks highly of what Bruce Pearl has done. Anytime you, as you know, as a Duke guy, anytime you can associate yourself with Duke, you've done something right in basketball, it seems.
Yeah, Bruce has done an amazing job at Auburn, and it's such a great venue for us. So we're always thrilled to be back. But I didn't know about the 3 years in a row thing, and you know who that put Auburn with. That's pretty cool.
You know, I don't know if you know this, Jay. We are a football conference here in the SEC. But the SEC, maybe not the best basketball atmospheres around, but Neville Arena, where does that rank with the Fog Allens and the Cameron Indoors?
It's different because it hasn't been as long of a history. But as new arenas go, it's awesome. There's a great feel to it, and it's loud and a difficult place for opponents to play and a great place for Auburn to play. But it's one of the best new arenas. Like John Paul Jones Arena at Virginia is fantastic, but I'd put it up with any of the best new ones.
Can you tell me what you believe Alabama's biggest strength is if they've got a chance to beat Auburn tomorrow? Is it their depth? Is it just Brandon Miller? What do you like about this Alabama team, Jay?
There's not much that you wouldn't like. They've got tremendous athleticism and skill. They're young in spots, but that's not a problem. It's just a factor, and they can play multiple lineups, and they've got 2 elite scorers in Mark Sears and Brandon Miller, and they can protect the rim with Charles Bediako. They can go smaller and still have length and athleticism, so they defend at a high level, and they can shoot it. They've got multiple guys that can score, but their 3-point shots come off of penetration a lot, and so you really have to do a good job of guarding the ball, staying out of rotation to keep them from making a ton of threes. I think they made 15 threes the other night. They're legit. They're as good as anybody. I mean, I think Purdue's probably the most consistent team this year, but right there is Alabama, and they've only lost three games or 4 games, whatever it is, and they're unbeaten in the SEC, and every one of their losses has been to the top level teams.
Jay Bilas with us for a few moments on the JohnstonRVCenter.com hotline. When you have seen teams slow Brandon Miller down a little bit, and most of the time that's only for a half, what have they done to do that, and can Auburn do the same thing, do you think?
Well, yeah, I haven't seen him slow down for 40 minutes. He's going to score. I think you just have to make it as difficult on him as you can. And Arkansas had a pretty good plan against him. They face guarded him. Then whenever he caught it, especially above the 3-point line, there was a soft trap on him to get the ball out of his hands. But Nate Oats did a really good job, I thought, in the second half of running actions to get him in the middle of the floor. And he hit a couple of huge threes in that game. I think he had 14 points in the second half after going scoreless in the first half, which was, I don't think that's happened to him in any other game. But he's one of those guys, you're not going to stop him. I mean, there's never been a shutout in basketball. But if you can make it more difficult and limit his catches and be there on the catches, the problem is for defenders, you can't help off of him. If you help off of him, he's gonna hammer you. And he's also a good offensive rebounder, and he actually gets a lot of his own misses. So even after he shoots it, you'd better get a body into him. So he's a challenge, but he's not alone there. Sears can really score. Jaden Bradley's a really good downhill driver. They've got a number of weapons, and Javon Quinterly is one of the best ball handlers in the college game, at least. And I'd put him up with most of the ball handlers in the NBA. He's not quite Kyrie Irving with the ball, but he's an amazing ball handler. So they've got everything, you just hope that you catch them on a night where you play well and maybe they don't play as well, because they can beat anybody in the country.
Jay, Bruma's been fantastic for Auburn, but this is a difficult team to figure out. They've lost 4 of 5. Where are you right now on Auburn on how good this team actually is?
Auburn's like a lot of teams out there. They're very good, and but they've got some. They don't shoot it particularly well, at least consistently well, and so that makes it a little more difficult to be able to stretch a defense and run the kind of actions that Bruce likes to run. But they play incredibly hard, and they're good defensively. They don't force turnovers like perhaps in some of the teams in the past, and things were a lot easier with Walker Kessler there, blocking, having triple doubles with 10 block shots, but they're good. I just think the consistent shooting piece is a difficult one to overcome. It's sort of game to game, and I think there are a number of coaches out there of teams that are fringe top 25 teams, fringe tournament teams, that their biggest concern going into game is not, are we going to play hard or can we defend? It's going to be, are we going to make shots tonight? And that's a tough way to go about things.
Remember, 9 a.m., the doors open early tomorrow for College Game Day. You got to have a ticket to get in because the game tips at 1. Hang around in there, make it a great atmosphere for Jay and the guys. Barkley comes on our show all the time. He said Alabama's the best team in the country here on our show. Back in your prime and in Barkley's prime, one-on-one, who would win that matchup in a game of one-on-one?
What?
Bilas was fantastic, too.
We're talking about Barkley.
Oh, come on, Jay. Tell him.
What game would we be playing?
Yeah, right, Jess.
One-on-one in basketball.
Are they debating? They're doing a law debate?
Yeah, I saw the 30 and 30. Bilas could battle.
Okay, if Bilas got 3 points to Barkley's 1, we might have a game.
I think here's where I think I could win. If I were 22 years old and take the 22-year-old Bilas versus the now 60-year-old Barkley.
Come on.
Yes, I agree with that.
Come on.
It'd be $15 in an Uber to get around him, but I think I could still win. If we were both 22, no shot.
All right, he is Jay Bilas. See him tomorrow on Game Day from down at Neville Arena at Auburn. In fact, ESPN has requested permission to use that video, so I have a feeling Charles' words on our show will come up on Jay's show tomorrow. Thank you very much for the time, Jay. Enjoy your stay.
Always a pleasure. Thank you.
All right, take care. Jay Bilas with us.
$15 in an Uber.
To get around Charles. Jay's on the JohnstonRVCenter.com hotline. You can use one of those,
I've
too.
asked some idiotic questions. That's the worst question we've
Well, when big stars on our show, nobody kisses their ass more than I do, but I thought it was a legitimate question.
No.
Legitimate question.
Bilas was a starter for a Duke National
but
Championship
I get that,
team.
but I don't
Barkley was a dream teamer.
Yeah, but it's a game of one-on-one. It's a different game.
Bilas topped out at an all-ACC performer. I think he was first team all-ACC one time. I'm just guessing here. I'm going to Google this. This is not even close. So we're talking about arguably the greatest power forward of all time.
Now, Barkley's, Bilas has got what is he, 6'7", 6'9"?
No, he's probably 6'9".
Yeah, 6'9". So he's got 4 inches on Charles.
He's taller.
Yeah, now
It
Charles.
didn't matter in the NBA.
Well, it did not matter. Barkley was
6'8".
the greatest of all time. I understand, but they were playing a team sport. This is one-on-one. It's a different game.
I'll take Charles.
I mean, I don't even know what to say, Dunaway. He might shut him out in one-on-one.